First of all, Taiwan is part of China. Unequivocal, no question, no doubt. And by the way, that is true in the views of both sides of the straits. That was never an issue. Then, when the United States established diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China, they said unequivocally one China policy. This was not ambiguous. Then in 1982, when the famous communique was issued about Taiwan, the United States said, we have no intention of arming Taiwan for the long term. We will continue to provide arms to Taiwan, but on a diminishing basis that will be phased out. People can read the communique from 42 years ago. This is not ambiguous. The United States should not be interfering, especially, by the way, in my opinion, for Taiwan's well-being, because it makes things much more dangerous for Taiwan, for the United States to be taking unilateral actions. And I have many friends in Taiwan, and I admire many, many people and institutions in Taiwan. When I was in Taipei, I said to my friends, don't become like Ukraine. Ukraine is in war now because it's a proxy war between the US and Russia. I think that some understand it and some don't. By the way, older people tend to understand it more. Younger people to understand it less. And there's something very dangerous they don't understand. The US violates all of our diplomatic commitments. It violates our communiques. It violates Taiwan's own interests. It's provocative. It's interference in the internal affairs of China. To make Taiwan safe, in my view, the United States should say, there is one China, but we call for peace. We call for peaceful relations across the straits, but we are not going to get involved. We're not going to meddle. We're not going to send arms. If the People's Republic of China asks us not to have a delegation go to Taiwan, we respect that because that is one China. We do not want to be a provocation. We want good, open relations, and we want peaceful relations across the straits, which I do believe is a universal value, and I believe a Chinese value as well. But that means don't arm Taiwan to the teeth. That's provocation. That's what happened in Ukraine, which is we told the Ukrainians, we have your back. You're absolutely safe. Don't worry about it. You should become part of NATO. And the Ukrainians believed it. And I tried to tell them, by the way, for many years, listen, I'm getting to be an old guy. I remember Vietnam. I remember Iraq. I remember Syria. I remember Libya. Don't fall into this trap. And you know what? They said, we don't believe you, Professor Sachs. We have the US on our side. I said, oh, don't end up like Afghanistan. The US said, oh, we're on your side. And we left Afghanistan in ruins after 40 years. I said, you're going to suffer the same fate in Europe to be like Afghanistan in Europe. Don't let it happen. Be prudent. Be careful. They didn't understand that. They sided with a US interventionist agenda for the US to move NATO into Ukraine against Russia's security interests. And this was a huge mistake.